So here we are. This is my last intro before the end of season 2, and we take a short break and start all this over again. So I wanted to take a second and reflect back at the year that we've had since we started this journey. I first approached Eldurrino to get Cold Read up and running because I felt like not only did he and I have something to offer for people that were just barely starting out or were interested in the whole voice acting field, but it also gave us a forum, somewhere where we could discuss things, kind of like a group therapy concept. I did feel like with Eldurrino and I, we needed something to balance out the equation. I had worked on a project with Matman, and I remember receiving this notification from Casting Call Club that somebody had given me a recommendation, and I didn't recognize the name as somebody who I'd, work against with or at the same time with, I should say. I remember reading that. It was one of the first ones that I got, and I got it next to Matman's. And it was one of the best feelings I'd ever gotten. I don't know if I actually ever got an opportunity to say, thank you, Renara, for submitting that, because that was a very kind thing for you to do. And it kind of set me on the right path that I wanted to go to. So officially, let me say, Renara, thank you so much for that recommendation. So I saw the recommendation from Renara, and I had the idea that I need somebody to balance out Eldurrino and I. So I randomly sent Renara a message on Twitter, basically saying, hi, we're doing this thing, trying to teach people how to navigate through voice acting and Telemar experiences. And I even said, because initially the idea was to podcast much, much later. This is even before that I knew specifically that Renara lived on the other side of the world. And then I hear nothing for the next 4 days. And let me tell you, I felt like I embarrassed myself when I sent that out, only because I didn't, you send something out, you put something out, and then you don't hear anything back. This is something that you have to get used to when it comes to voice acting. But I was still very, very new at that particular part. And I honestly thought that maybe I said the wrong thing, or maybe she just ignored it and said, okay, well, we'll continue on. So Renara finally replies back and basically says, hey, I don't really check my Twitter too often. It's an understandable thing. We don't all concentrate or hyper focus on our social media like I do. And there we go. We had 3 team members just like that. I still felt like I needed somebody else to balance. And that's when I approached my friend, Princess Pashley. Now, Pashley may not directly be a voice actor, and we kind of tried to push her in that direction a couple of times, but she's such a good operatic singer, and she has such a good knowledge of when it comes to vocal production, and she does the tutoring thing. I thought she would be absolutely awesome. And I mean, we were at a time where we all just had so much extra time on our hands because of this thing called COVID. But of course, things change, and unfortunately, Pashley had other responsibilities, and she no longer has the opportunity to donate time to be here, and this is something that's totally understandable. So when I found out Eldurrino's actually doing like interviews for finding a new co-host, I was a little worried, because I was just hoping just to grab somebody that we knew already and everything else. And then we meet Misty. And Misty has this personality and has this finesse when it comes to talking, that just surprised me. And I know she left an impression on the other team, and I'm super happy to have Misty part of the Cold Read family. So what am I trying to say in all of this? Well, looking back at the last year since we started Cold Read, all of us have really branched out and have really grown as voice actors. I'm super thankful to have met each and every one of them. I'm super thankful to be able to produce the show and to hear that we had some part in just even a couple of people starting their journey, getting their roles, us being able to hand them a tool for them to be able to just move a little bit forward in their voice acting journeys. Even for me, you look at my first auditions, which I've shown many times on the show, to where I personally am now. I have a very steady gig when it comes to J-Show clips that I'm super proud of being a part of. They've grown recently to a much, much bigger community. They've had a big influx of groups, and I'm hoping that my contribution there is helping them in some way. So I figured, why not ask the other hosts? What are you thankful of? As always, let's start on the other side of the world. This is what Renara had to say.
Oh gods, okay, gotta get it under a minute. Right, okay, so what has changed? 1, I started not knowing how to do intros, and now I'm applying everything that I've learned and making massive epic tales, including writing my own for my own channel. I would not have been able to do that without this podcast, my gods. My inner VA circle has grown exponentially, and I've met so many new lovely people and have expanded my horizons on what things I could possibly do in the future. Oh gods, panic. I've managed to branch out in doing different accent work. I've worked on my American. I'm now doing different textures. I'm expanding my vocabulary, finding what I'm not good at and finding what I am and pushing myself. And lastly, I have managed to tick off 2 of my bucket list things, which is ask Jennifer Hale a question in a live Q&A and be in a live Q&A. That is amazing. I am so happy. Also, I have managed to get a demo reel done and quite possibly other stuff in the works as well. Oh my god, it's over a minute. I hope this is okay.
That was way more than okay. I'm just super happy to have been able to push people into doing what they want to do. And I can say I've had that slight change in somebody's life, and that's a good feeling. And now let's hear from Eldurrino.
It's your boy, the Water Messiah. Drink water. Over the past year, I have come to realize that voice acting has been more a stepping stone in the path of life and helped open my eyes to what I see myself doing for the rest of my life. Hopefully. I'm hoping that in the future I can continue creating original works. I love writing stories, I love directing, I love making music. I love all of it, and voice acting is just a notch in that entire process. And I love voice acting, but I'm hoping that as time goes on, I can use that to embolden everything else after I finish this motherfucking rock opera. Bitch, we out!
Everybody's journey goes in a different direction. You may start off thinking that you want to do this whole voice acting thing, but you could end up composing a rock opera. You just never know where this is going to lead you, and I'm so excited to be able to see the continuation of Eldurrino's journey. So here's a little bit of last minute editing magic, because initially, Misty, I was just going to stop the intro and make you just answer the question live. Thankfully, you got your thing submitted. So let's listen to Misty and see how this year has been for her.
In the past year, I feel like I've really pushed myself as a voice actor. I've stepped out of my comfort zone significantly by interacting with different groups, mainly on Discord for practice. And I think that that's really helped me get some confidence and trying out for more roles and just pushing myself to try to communicate more with other people. It's given me some more confidence in networking, like on Twitter, or like reaching out to people and being like, hey, I'd love to audition for your project if I see something's available. Even if I don't have a demo just yet, I'm still aiming for that, maybe next year. It still pushes me to be like, hey, I don't have that yet, but I can still give you what I have, show you what I've got.
And there you have it. Another year has gone by, and our journeys have progressed that much more. So here's to another year. I hope that we can continue to offer some kernel of knowledge to you that are listening and help you make that one step forward into joining our community, our projects, or even trying to fulfill that dream that you want to do. So I don't want to say good luck, but I do want to say good journey. Let's get on with the show. Roll tape. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live recording. If you are here, welcome to those watching on YouTube, and thank you for those that are downloading the podcast anywhere where you hear podcasts. Welcome to Cold Read. I was very, very fortunate to be able to put that one together for the group. This is my last intro until we move on to season 3. Thank you, everybody that cooperated. Thank you for sharing. I absolutely appreciate it.
I want to give
very
everyone a big
cute.
hug.
That was so heartfelt, man. I was crying, and this is like.
It was a very emotional one for me, and I wanted to make sure to touch on all that because without everybody, without our guests, without our listeners, without our hosts, we just wouldn't be here. So thank you, and it's you guys that are driving all of us to get that little extra step forward. So for sure, I just wanted to say thank you and give a hat tip to everybody there. So appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna do our check-ins, and then we'll move on to our guests. So Renara, I know you had a lot of fun yesterday. How was your week?
Okay, we're ignoring most of the week because most of the week was horrible. I'm not going into the
Fair enough.
But I got to be part of the Creation ModCon, which was the 2-day con about Skywind, Sky Oblivion, and all those big things. And I got to be on the voice acting panel as one of 4. And I was like, oh my god, this is like one of my dreams. Oh my god, this is amazing. It was so much fun. Oh, I could go on. I'm not going to, because I will end up taking the whole of the podcast just talking about that, but I won't. If you want to go check it out, you can. It's they've taken the panel I did and they've made it a separate video. It's about an hour long because I ramble, as we know.
You did.
But,
I was watching yesterday. You did a pretty good job at
Really?
controlling yourself. Yes.
That literally took notes. I had to take notes and follow that script to the letter in order to keep it that concise. But no, it was, oh my god, it was so much fun. I got my demo reel finished.
Yay!
Literally 4
nice.
days before December. Got it. I said I'd get it
Nice.
done before December, and I did. You can thank the wonderful Jeff Leeson for producing the whole of it. It
Yes.
was he is phenomenal in that regard. So is what I said to that front. But no, those are my little shining gems of 2 very shit weeks.
Oh well, yeah. It's been a couple weeks. That's a good point. And
Yeah.
what makes you think that you ramble? I mean, this does not. Oh, don't give me that look. I'm sorry. So let's
It's not
move.
like we have a jingle for it or anything.
Yeah, dang it. I did play, but my mixer was low. So let's try that one more time. Ren rambles. All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So let's move on. Misty, it's been a couple of weeks. How are you? How have you been? How's everything going?
It's been perfectly fine. No, absolutely fine. Unfortunately, not much to report in terms of VA because my work has just been like my regular job was just insane because Black Friday was like the 2-week sale thing is just insane.
Yeah.
So I've just been trying to hang in there as best I can. It's starting to calm down now, but significantly, I entered a voice acting competition called Now Voice This. And I did make it to the 2nd round,
Woo!
so I feel
Nice.
super happy. Yes, I'm really happy because most of the people in the other group that I practice with, they also made it too. So we're all just celebrating together when they announced it, and really hoping today is the submission for the 2nd round. So hoping I make it to
You will
round
believe
3.
in yourself, Misty. Believe.
I did notice you put that file up there, so hopefully we'll get a chance to listen to it before you have to submit it. So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really short. That's a good thing, but it's also pressure because it's like I
Absolutely.
have to make something significant in that short amount of time. It's
Totally
Learn.
get it. Yeah.
learning process.
Well, happy to have you, Mr. Eldurrino, Water Messiah yourself. I'm drinking my water on your behalf. How was your week?
Boy, it was nuts. So Thanksgiving went over really well. With my girlfriend's family, there's almost a 99% chance of drama happening. There wasn't, surprisingly, which I
Whoa.
was very excited about. And after that, we had a wedding to attend. This would be my 3rd wedding over the course of 2 months. I guess I must have ran out of luck after the first one because the second one I got COVID, and then this one I came down with a cold, which I'm still recovering from. Very annoying. But on the other hand, or the other foot, the other appendage, the photographer for the wedding ended up being a no-show. Like super stressful moment for the wedding party.
Yikes.
However, one of my girlfriend's sisters is now dating a guy who, as a side gig, does photography and videography. So he offered to step in at the last minute.
Nice.
And he did a fantastic job. Like, the dude was kitted out. He had his camera ready to go. He had a drone. Like, the dude was super awesome. And so I was talking to him about it because I've had my hand in photography and videography in the past. And just in passing, he was talking about wanting to get more into the wedding video stuff because it's kind of an untapped market. And I said, if you ever need, a voiceover for any videos or whatnot, let me know, because that's what I do as my side gig.
Smart.
And he's like, dude, that's awesome. Like, of course I'll reach out to you, because like otherwise I'd end up going to like Fiverr and hiring someone I don't know. I'd rather pay someone, that I know in person to do it so that I know what I'm getting. And I was like, all right, cool. So we exchange information, and yeah, so found a nice little business opportunity, and then got sick.
Networking.
Yes.
I was super thrilled about that. That was certainly the takeaway from that entire thing, aside from the wedding and whatnot. And then in the meantime, still working very diligently on finishing up this rock opera. I finished another song
Nice.
on Friday that is for Pashley and Brian, and it's weird. It's very strange. I hope they're going to be able to pull it off, because it's all over the place. But I'm confident they're very good singers.
They are,
I'm
absolutely.
sure they'll do absolutely great. So with that being said, I have one more song to completely write from start to finish. It is the last song in the thing. So got to do that soon, which will be probably this week. And then I have to finish up the first song, which I'm not super concerned about because it's the only person doing any vocals in it is me. So I can wait or save that one for last. Yeah. And then after that, it's all just meshing everything together and hoping to God I get it done by December 19th. Or I'm gonna cry.
Boy, and then having to edit all this just for me doing the Halloween intro. Doing all that editing takes so long. So good luck to you. my friend.
I'm comfortable enough with Ableton that I know how quickly I can edit things together. That's why I set the deadlines the way that I did, because I know it's going to take me about a week to do all the lines and get everything done.
Mhm.
It's going to take me about a couple of days at the very least to get the music all situated and mastered and etc. So yeah, so I made my deadlines kind of last minute, but I know how much time things take me through trial and error. So
Fair enough.
yeah, I'm positive I'll get it done on time, but there's always that little voice in the back of my head that's like, you got to get this done or else people are gonna be pissed. Some people probably, hopefully, or if anything, just you.
Well, if we have no entry on the 19th, we'll have a problem, but that's fine.
I'll just do the entire rock opera on the spot.
Yes.
Live.
I'll do
Oh,
everyone's
podcast, make it
parts.
live, Jesus.
Oh my god, the pressure.
Oh.
So my week has been interesting. It's been super busy. Like I mentioned, the J Show Clips is really ramped up. That's the paid gig that I've got through voices.com. And it's been going great. The one thing I'm at is I was going to hold off on renewing my voices.com account. And I guess they got a hold of my PayPal and $500 went away.
Oh my god.
But it's fine because I had that 500 already made just from the gigs that I'd gotten. So it's
Right.
Yeah.
it's a push. It was like I was going to hold out to see if they gave me a good offer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, my balance is lower than I expected it to be, because I'm working on getting a new quieter computer because my computers are all super loud. But what can you do?
Yeah.
Work has been busy. I had not had any time to do any auditioning. I'm still waiting to hear from the Energy one. That's the original script from Honeyham Productions. They're great little people. That's you met Miss Sunshine, I think, when we were doing Destiny Raids. That's her production company. So waiting for that to come out, and that was a ton of fun to put together. Never been a superhero before, and I love hearing those see what we're going to come up with. So we'll see what happens. But
Very nice.
here we are, almost 20 minutes in. I've not been able to acknowledge Dave. Welcome. You are appreciate you coming in and saying hello to the group and like giving us a chance to interview you. Before we get started on your story, how was your week?
Oh, my week. It wasn't that exciting. I mean, I've got auditions that I've got to get done. I have a few more that are due tomorrow. But I've really just been kind of taking it easy. I've been having tooth work that's been going on for like the past
Yeah.
couple of months. It's been taking forever just to get like these things like scheduled and done, and I'm still on the wait list for more stuff to get done.
Mhm.
But besides that, like I had my class yesterday, voiceover class with Robin Armstrong. This is a place called the Panic Room. Very nice, a very fun group of people. It's kind of like this. It's very casual. We come together, we prepare some copy, and we do a little bit of improv and cold reading. It's fun. But last night I probably stayed up a bit too late. I was watching the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that came out. I don't know if any of you follow that. But stayed up watching that, ate some ice cream like past 1 o'clock, and I got like no sleep. So
Sounds like a good
I woke up
night.
at like
That's a good night.
4:30, and I look at my clock. I'm just like, I'm not going back to bed.
Yeah, that's
So,
when you start
got
making
my
the
coffee
decision.
and
Is like,
here I am.
should I sleep or should I just stay up? What's easier?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it's all right.
I'm glad to hear that. So, Dave, before we get started on where people may have heard you, let's start with at the very beginning. So, how did you get involved with voice acting?
Voice acting. Well, with acting in general, I've always liked it. Back in high school, I was one of the drama nerds. Did a little bit in college. And then like my first few years in college, I kind of just like after that I stopped. I went to go on to pursue storyboarding. I wanted to be an artist and do that type of thing, and graphic design, illustration, all of that. I went to school in Japan for a few years, came back, and then after trying to find my way there, or just like my just something to do, my brother got diagnosed with cancer. That put everything on hold. Then he passed away, and that just kind of really changed my life focus. Just like I don't know what I want to do. I was in a job that I didn't really like, and I was just. I remember walking around, not really walking around. I was like in my room, and I was just looking at things, and like the algorithm obviously like popped up some stuff, and I was like, oh, voiceover classes that are near me. I was living in Orange County at this time, and it just popped up. I'm like, you know what, this is fun. I always thought about like going back into theater or acting and doing something. And I remember always liking voice acting. I've always enjoyed cartoons and all that. So that's probably in 2013.
Okay.
Took my first like voiceover class and started getting into more acting classes. And then after a few years after that, I'm like, you know what? I really enjoy this. This was originally it was kind of like a way for me to kind of connect with my brother because he was the actor in our family. Like we both did that when we were young, and then once I got to college, I was like, you know what? He's better at that than me. I enjoy drawing more. I'm gonna go do that. So at first, start off was trying to connect with him through acting, and then I was like, you know what? I forgot how much I love doing this, and so I just kind of started off on casting call club. I think like Behind the Voices, or I think they had some like casting call stuff on that too, which everyone wants to do something, but hardly anyone follows through on those. But
that seems to be a problem in casting call club too.
Happens a lot.
But yeah, that's kind of like where I started. Should I keep going to like the present?
It's
or?
up to you. It's just this, like I said, this is, yeah. You're driving this. I'm just here for the ride.
All right. Okay. A few years after that, I let's see, it was probably 2015. I was like, I want to try to actually pursue this as a career. So I started taking more classes. I didn't get my demo made until 2016 was like my first demo. It was like a commercial demo. And that was like through the teachers I've had for the past couple years. And then after that, I realized like I really want to get into animation. I love character work. And character work is my favorite. Give me someone with like that's cartoony or a little bit more animated, exaggerated. I want to do that type of stuff. I enjoy it. Although now I'm trying to get more into video game work, which is a lot less subtle than animation. So.
Yeah.
But I started taking more classes with Bang Zoom, which if you have the opportunity, do it. They're brilliant. They have a lot of online classes now. So if you're interested in animation, ADR work, and I also booked my first ADR in 2018. It It was a Russian cartoon, which was a lot of fun. I got to play this little yellow cube thing and a little yellow alien cube, and we're trying to. It was meant for like kids like 5 and younger, but that was a lot of fun. And then like the main antagonist, for some odd reason, left the show. I don't know if he just didn't want to do it anymore. So like, hey, can you do a pirate voice? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So it's like, all right, you're doing the pirate now. I'm like, all right, cool, this is great. So I watched like some of it, and like halfway through, it changes. It's still the same feel, but I'm like, oh yeah, you can definitely hear that there's a different voice actor. That's me, and they do some slight voice modulation onto it. And then there was another one where I got to play an evil rhino, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then after that, just like a few video game work, some commercial work. Oh gosh, and it's just been kind of going from there, like a lot of small stuff. And gosh, and when I tried to make the move to doing it full time, I was like, all right, end of 2019, this is gonna be I'm gonna be able to do this, and then everything just kind of like, oh my god, what's happening?
The world had other plans.
The world did have other plans.
So
But,
there's
yeah, that's my gist.
yeah, so about 2019, 2020 at the beginning. So there was this explosion where all of a sudden we're all stuck at home. We all have extra time, and yeah, we all just started jumping in. So when you started at CCC, was CCC going on in 2013, or is this a different?
I don't think that was going on at 2013. I know behind the voice actors, and there was like another one. Gosh, I think I still have the tab somewhere on my old
Your browser
bookmarks here.
history, or
Yeah, not browsers, but
Yeah.
the bookmarks. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a specific thing for like VO stuff. There was a few sites that I would frequent, and then Casting Call did come up like a little bit, like a few years later. I just remember people talking about it, like, oh, you know what, I'll check it out. But point being is like in the beginning, you check out the sites that have like, the free auditions type of thing, and you want to get experience that way. So
What was your first equipment when you first started?
oh, when I first started, I started out with a Blue Yeti.
Okay.
Oh.
Very popular.
Yeah, very popular. I had the Blue Yeti. I had a oh gosh, and I forget what my interface was. I've had it for the longest time, and it finally like kicked the bucket like 2 years ago, and it worked great. Gosh, you know what? Give me 1 second.
Oh, sure. All right. Well, while we are absolutely wait, I mean, like I know you Misty, you're using a Blue Yeti right now.
I'm saving up for something else. Just I need to get some stuff fixed up around the apartment, and then I'll get it because I know which one I want to get. So
Hey, Christmas is right around the corner. Never be afraid to ask.
Right.
Treat yourself.
no one can give me anything like that.
This little guy.
I do-
Hey, okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Line
okay.
6 UX2. I got it for cheap on eBay. A lot of people, if you're looking for extra like stuff that you want, I kind of recommend eBay because I found a lot of stuff that people just kind of like slash prices off for. And it might be a little bit older, but it's a really good deal, even as refurbished. And if you're just starting out, you don't want to throw hundreds of dollars, but if you can like throw like 120, 150, it'll do the job.
Yeah, it's a good investment. eBay can also be known as like the graveyard of dreams because like when people give up on it, they just sell it on eBay.
Very
Yeah,
true.
I start off with that and like a small little reflective screen, and then like a pillow fort like around like my little setup here. And then it wasn't until later I was able to get longer cords to get my computer away because you could always hear the fan on that thing. So.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. I know a lot of us have I mean, we've invested in either the do-it-yourself ones. I've got more of the MDMs. Misty still has the one in the background, which I absolutely love. Always looking at the pony back there. And now Renara's got the checkerboard. So yeah, it's that slow evolution, and it's always growing. And it's good. Now you decided to start doing the classes. Now you're in Orange County. Orange County is a good opportunity, a good place to be able to branch out. A lot of acting communities very close by, right?
I'm in Long Beach right now, but in Orange County, yeah, surprisingly, there was just a lot of like small studios that you could just go to, and they had classes there. Gosh, there was at least a good 4 or 5 when I was in Costa Mesa, which is kind of like on the outskirts of Orange County. But yeah, they had like. There was a good ADR like visual studio there. They had like a really good class. I'm wondering if they're still doing it. Well, probably not now because still COVID stuff.
Yeah, that's still
but
COVID.
it was just really awesome because it was just like 4 hours of like you and probably there was like 10 people there, and there's just 4 hours of you guys just going up and doing ADR, doing the lip sync, having fun, and learning how this works. You have to get it on the 4th beat type of thing, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, Orange County was nice, and it's close-ish to LA, but not that much. But it's still in Southern California, and if you do get a gig, you can make the time to try to drive up there, which LA traffic.
Well, and even nowadays, that's not even something that happens as often because of COVID and everything else. And most people expect you to have the equipment at home. So,
yep, true. Yeah, remote recording is just blown up since 2020.
Yeah.
Everyone expects you to have a home studio that has good quality. Which, if you're just starting out, don't focus on that. Just focus on getting experience and getting your acting chops up. Because I know a lot of people, they want to. I want to buy the Newman U87. I want to get the Apollo interface. Just calm down, because in like a few years you might be like, I hate this, or just like, this is so hard. Just you don't need to jump head first here. Just take your time. It's fine.
It's very
I think
true.
we've all said something like that in regards of everyone's journey is their own, and we all go as fast as you go, if that makes sense. You are own.
Yeah, because if you don't, we've always been big proponents of make sure that your bills are met, make sure that you can earn your living before you jump into this.
Yeah,
exactly.
Set yourself up for that success.
Mm-hmm. Well, that and
also be prepared to make changes if you need to, because my goodness, how many times, like even just wanting to jump into full-time VO, it's just like, oh, can't quite do that yet. Need to go get a part-time gig somewhere. It's gonna happen. Doesn't mean failure. It's just it's part of the journey. Everyone, if you're lucky, you don't have to do that. But that is like winning the lottery, I think. Most actors, they're just like, no, I need another job to actually live a life, and that's just part of the thing. You need to do that.
Right.
Drew, I don't know if you were going to say something. I apologize.
I was just going to say, like, is when it comes to acting in general, like, you can't just throw money out there, like, and the equipment is never going to make you a better actor. Like, you just have to, any performing art, it's all about practice and repetition, really.
Yeah, no, acting is definitely, if you invest in anything and invest in more coaching classes, just something to get your acting chops up to speed, because before you make that demo, you need to be sure, like, this is what you want casting directors to hear you as. You need to, there's a thing called demo ready. It's like you'll know you're ready when you're ready, type of thing. Which I always hated that explanation when I was first starting out, because just like I want to do this, I want to jump in, I'm gonna and then it's like no, you'll know when you're ready. And it wasn't until like maybe 3 or 4 years after VO classes I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do my commercial. And it was another 3 years after that I was like, you know what, I'm ready to do my animation. Take your time, develop these skills, and then invest into that. So yeah.
Out of curiosity, because my next question was going to be about your demo reel, so thank you for thinking already ahead and answering that one. I appreciate it. How often do you personally update your demo reel right now?
Well, updating it, that is a thing.
I mean, never's a good answer too. Don't get me wrong. I listen back to my commercial one. It's okay. I really want, if I'm going to do it again, I would like to do it again. But right now it's okay. It's not where I'm focusing at, although I should probably put more focus in commercial work, because that is kind of like the bread and butter. I see more auditions for that from my agent, and those pay relatively a lot better than stuff that I find on my own, like Twitter and the other social media sites. It's just, that's how it goes. So I just recently got my animation demo. I've talked to other people how often they replace it, and they say, listen back to it. If there's things that that just doesn't sound right, or you don't like it, that's probably the time that you need to update it. So for me, the time is probably now, but I'm a little short on cash to redo the commercial narration one. Yeah.
So
you normally reach out and have somebody else. Do you have somebody write it and then produce it, or do you write it, you record it, and then send it to somebody for mastering?
I usually work with usually I'll talk to like one of my coaches. My last one I did for my animation was Julie Madalena. She's a big voice casting director She's a voice casting director at Bang Zoom, and she does a lot of work, and she's done a lot of work before. Like when I first walked into her class, I signed up for it, knowing that she did voices. I just didn't know what. And then when I actually heard her, I'm like, oh my god, I actually know this voice. It was actually just one of my like favorite animes growing up. It's blotted out here on the side. It's Magic Knight Wraith. I don't know. It's a shoujo girl anime, magical transformation stuff. Yeah, but I recognized her voice from the English dub. I'm like, oh my god. So I worked with her, and we worked on the script together. We worked on characters that I've been working on. And she helped me write it, and then we went to LA Digital Record, which is a little small studio in LA, and we produced it there. For my other ones, it was less work for me. They did more of like the script working, because I was still, I guess newish. So they're just like, oh, how does this look? Do you like the sound of this? I'm like, I think so. Which is probably not the response you want to have when you're about to spend all that money.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Like it sounds good to me. I'm paying you guys to help me with this. I think it sounds good, but I'm also relying on your professional opinion. So
because I can relate to that, because recently I've done my one 5 years too bloody late. But no, I had exactly the same thing because I kept telling Mr. Jeff Leeson, I need your opinion because I don't know if I sound good. I don't know, because you're so used to having, because you are the actor and then you've got the director telling you what's good and what's not. So having that own subjectiveness is kind of like, I don't know. What do you think? So I can understand that entirely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And also with my first one, I didn't have too many voice acting friends or community. So, you send it to your family, and if they're supportive, they're going to be like, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Which, I'm glad I have that support. But at the same time, I need critique on it.
Yes.
Which I had on my animation one, which I really enjoy. I love the strong characters I have in there. I worked with Julie on that for, months. I was just that was a fun time. And I worked with her. I took a few of her classes for like a few years, and so she actually knew me as an actor. So she was able to bring out some of my strengths in these reads and really know what to play to my strengths. And then also I had other friends that are now within the voice actor community. I'm like, hey, does this sound okay? And I'm like, oh, I like this. You might want to change this. And so it evolved over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what happened.
So community now is very different to evolve right now, because we're a more digital age. When you first started, was it more the classes that led to the people that you network with, or how did that work out?
Yes, actually, because I wasn't too social on social media. Like I had like a Facebook, but that was just for friends and family. When I was taking classes, everyone was saying you should get on social media. That's going to be a thing. You're going to want to do that. And they were right. But in the beginning, yes, it was mainly classwork. One of the classes in Orange County specifically had they invited casting directors come in. You get to talk to them. You read copy. They give you feedback. And and that's actually where I got my first agent. Only lasted for about 7 months, but my first agent. So
it's on there. It's on there.
I mean, and having an agent isn't the most important thing, and if you do, the first one usually it's not going to last. It's like any relationship. You go in there, you'll probably have fun, and you'll start to be like, maybe this isn't working out. So don't expect the first agent to be your last agent, is what I would say for those of you that are trying to pursue one. Just be prepared to get to know what you're worth, what your strong points are, and because it is a relationship. You need to be communicating with them, they need to be communicating with you. You need to have an idea of what your brand is, although that's not as important as acting. Acting is always more important. But have an idea of who you are, what you bring to the table, and what you want to do, because when you have those ideas in mind, I think you'll be more successful, and you'll just be able to not hyper focus, but you'll see the path ahead of you a bit clearer, and you'll start getting these auditions that that really resonate with you. And I've been noticing that this year, which has been, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, I'm starting to see more things that know that I can do well. I got more callbacks this year.
Cool.
Didn't book as much, but I got a lot more callbacks. Got to put on a lot of short lists, and just had people contacting me saying, we like what you did. We don't want you for this role, but we'd like to keep you on and contact you later if something comes up. And I'm just like, yes, thank you. By all means, yes, contact me. So that is one thing that I can say that has really happened like good this year, is that I had a lot of feedback from casting directors and the people in charge of these projects, not just on social media, but people that I've gotten through my agent. They've like, hey, we liked you, but you're just not great. Not great. It's just that you're not for this role.
Right. You don't fit this particular role.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, brain fart. Forget that.
It's quite all right.
It's cool.
It's fine.
I have a question.
Oh, cool.
No.
Yes.
No. I've always wondered, what are the pros and cons to having an agent? Because I mean, I grew up in the theatre community and the sort of the film industry side of things, and it's always almost always expected. Like, if you're an actor, getting an agent is like the thing you're meant to do. Like, in the grand scheme of things, if you're weighing it out, is it necessary, or is it not? Like, give us the inside scoop.
It depends on where you want to go. There are some people that are perfectly fine doing indie projects and more of like a hobby side of it, and it's a side thing.
Yeah.
You don't need an agent to be a successful voice actor. But if you want to go into animation, if you want to do like a Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, you need to get an agent. It's you're not going to see those auditions otherwise. I remember the first time with my current agent, I saw because they'll even though you're not part of the union, they might offer a Taft-Hartley, which is always the dream of just like, oh God, I don't have to pay for anything and they'll just let me in. Which is always, it's great when you see those and you give it your all. But so you don't need to be in the union to see some of these auditions, and they're going to they'll say, this is for SAG, but we're also taking non-union auditions. So it's really cool to see these opportunities and stuff that I know that I would never see if I didn't have an agent. I'm trying to remember what the actual question was.
Wasn't necessary.
Pros and cons of having an agent.
Pros and cons.
And
all right,
whether
okay,
it's worth it,
Yeah, so the pro is that you'll see auditions that you didn't think you'd see. It's really cool. It gives you the nice like feelies in there. It's just like, oh, this is awesome. I can't believe I auditioned for that. And then you actually see it get produced and like, oh my God, that role I auditioned for was, well, I mean, just like they chose Alan Tudyk. And it's just like, my God, I was going up against that. It's fun. The con to an agent, I can't say that there is a con to having one. It's just it gives you more opportunities. They do take 15 to 20%. That's normal. Never pay for an agent.
That was going to be a question.
When
Thank
you get paid. If anyone comes up to you saying, "Hey, give us so much money, we'll represent you," don't. That is, I've talked to too many people. It's not. At best, it's a scam. At worst, it's like a felony, I guess. I don't know.
Really?
Well, I mean, there's some things to where, I mean, that has to deal with more of like classes, I think.
Right.
But the point being is that you don't have to pay to have an agent. They'll make money when you make money.
Right.
Anyone who says otherwise, just be like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. And then you talk shit about them behind their back.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. No, because I've had sorry, Misty, you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was gonna say like it's not like related to voice acting necessarily, but just acting in general. When I was a kid, there was this. They call themselves like a talent group like in Houston, and they have like commercials on the radio, or they actually like hand out pamphlets in the mall. It's like, oh, we get people in Disney Channel and stuff like that. And then, like, if you make it supposedly after the callback, they're like, it costs like, I can't remember how much, a lot of money to like sort of sign the person. And it's like, oh, of course not. We're not paying.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, I don't know if that is a crime. It should be, but that is definitely a red flag when that happens. So
it's a crime in our eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because I've also had things where because I'm most of my game experience at the minute is Skywind, and that's where most of like my video game expertise come from. And we've had like Wes Johnson commenting, going, "Oh, I wish I could do this, but I'm part of the union, so I can't."
Yeah.
And so I guess in a way, I was wondering if having an agent automatically puts you into that category of I'm part of the union now. So my brain went, is that the con? Or rather, is an agent connected to needing to be signed in the union, or can you just have
You don't
agents-
need an agent to be in the union. I'm not in the union.
Right.
I know that
So they're two separate entities, sort of thing.
They're two separate entities. However, if you have an agent, as I said, you will receive, or you'll see stuff that you just wouldn't see before, because they actually talk to casting directors that are, where they're locally at. Like I have one in LA, and so I'll see stuff. As I said, there was one from Cartoon Network, stuff like movies from like Paramount. Like every now and then, like you can't like there'll be some that'll be like SAG only, and if that is it, then if you're non-union, you can't. But every now and then they'll be like, we're taking non-union, and that's when you're just like, all right, roll up the sleeves, just do some dive deeping. They'll have the casting director and whoever's like producing it, and I just love when they give you more information. Sometimes they don't, but when they do your research, see who's producing it, who's directing it, and Google them, find out what the work they've done, and see the tone that they usually have. Because directors and people that make these animations, they all have like a similar tone when you listen to them. Well, like depending on like the people that are making it. Like there was one, I'm pretty sure it came out. Like he did BoJack Horseman, and they made a small little show. I think it was like about a Zodiac characters on Hulu, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to remember this right now.
You're good.
But I remember looking at them like, oh, they kind of sound similar, or maybe that was just the spec. They wanted something that sounded like BoJack. Point being, do your research. You'll be happy that you did it, and you'll see yourself grow as an actor, because everyone has these casting directors just have the ear. Oh, that's something that we should talk about. You need to develop your listening skills. Like hearing is so important. Oh my gosh, I just don't know how to like acting and listening. It's probably like the two biggest things. Because if you can hear the tone, if you can hear these different slight subtle changes, then you'll just be able to pick up on just so much more. Like you'll find more in the script. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Well, it's as a voice actor, you have to convey what your body would normally do, or even your face would normally do, in just your voice. So yeah, those little nuances absolutely help.
Yeah. No, I remember in one of the classes that I took, the guy said to really develop and hone in on that, just take 10 minutes a day and sit outside, or someplace that has a fair bit of noise going on, and just don't say anything. Just listen and try to pick out little sounds that you wouldn't normally hear in your day-to-day, like birds going by, cars driving by, the people talking way off in the background, just little things like that. And as you start doing that more and more, you start like focusing more on your own voice, just picking out little nuances in there, as well as other people's voices or music or what have you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, with that and listening, and when I was first starting out, I was told one of the, I guess, tricks that you could use, or just like some life advice, I guess, as a voice actor, is now that you have a phone, my phone was horrible back in the day. I had to actually buy like a little MP3 recorder and just like keep that with me. And just I would ask my friends, be like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Do you mind if I just record our conversation so I can listen back to it later? Some people will be okay with that. I'm just gonna put that out there that most people will not. They're just like, no.
And don't do it secretly.
No.
You could, but just it's always best to ask first, as opposed to it's not like you're gonna post these online. Don't. But I would say always ask for permission, because there's a few friends like, oh yeah, we don't care. Get a few drinks in them first, and then they'll usually say yes.
I love that idea. I love that idea.
If you just isolate that, it sounds.
Yep.
It's a good way. it's a good way to hear casual conversation, because that spec comes up a lot in commercial, also in a lot of animation I've been seeing, like serious animation. They want it to sound more like a video game or an actual movie. Is just you know, they don't want the they want the
Yeah.
so.
Well, it's funny because in commercial, because a lot of us in ourvoices.com, you'll see that they want more natural and not like the big game show people. They want just like regular conversations. Now.
If I see someone being like John Krasinski in that like stat block one more time, I'm just gonna be like, I see him all the time for natural conversations. Like, we want someone that sounds like John Krasinski. It's like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
I think I'm picking up on that too, because I'm also a big movie fan, and that's also something I've been observing in some films that I've been watching, where it's like romantic comedy sort of a sort, where it's like I can tell that this feels really real. The way that they're talking to each other, it's very casual. You can tell it doesn't feel rehearsed. It doesn't feel like a script. And I observe those kind of things, so that I think if I ever do something like that in a recording, I want it to sound as natural as possible. And it doesn't need to sound like exactly by the number, like hit a certain thing. It's supposed to just flow. And you can take inspiration from anywhere. It really helps.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Movies are a fun way to get, you know, see actual, like, not actual, but just like, you know, people that are getting paid the big bucks, you know, seeing their work and applying that to what you do. Because what was it? It's just like it's like good artists like imitate, but great artists steal. That type of thing.
Yeah. Right.
So by all means, if you see someone's doing something that you like, that you know you can do, take it. It's fine. No one cares.
Yeah,
I love that.
for real. I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought up video games there, Renara, because our last episode's guest was someone who is currently working on a team creating a visual novel, and I saw very early on that you were credited in working on Black Desert Online, which, for those who don't know, is a pretty popular Korean MMO. What?
I have a story. I have a story.
I don't know.
about-
Renara looked really mad as soon as you said that. I don't know why, but
I have a can I
It's
read?
gonna have to
can I
wait.
have my
give it a
Red
sec. Give us a
Hamlet
sec.
moment?
Give us a second. Give us a second.
Oh, okay,
Let Dorino
okay.
finish.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because we had someone on the casting side, and now we have someone who is more on the acting side as far as video game work goes, and this is something that we have not gotten a chance to talk about. So, tell us, if you are, if you're still working on it, great, and if you can, how is working in that genre?
A lot of fun. God, I got to work with Christopher Bevins. He was my director. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's done a lot of ADR work. He currently voices someone on My Hero Academia. The guy with the tape. I forget his name. Cero, I think it is. But point being, awesome guy. Got to work with him. We had a lot of fun. But what a lot of people don't know is when you walk in there, you don't get the script beforehand. And this is very common from what I've talked to, especially with ADR work too. And when you're doing translations, you'll get the copy right when you go in. And they had me booked to do 3 characters. Like I auditioned for 3, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we like you for this, this, and this." And they're just like, "All right, we're gonna be recording 25 characters, and we got 2 hours. Let's go."
Oh crap!
So
God.
and it's very I don't want to say high stakes, but it's kind of when I first heard that, I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I can do this."
It kind of feels like you can't mess up. It kind of is like, I need to make sure that this hits because we can't go back and.
Yeah, you at most get 2. 2 is standard. 3 takes is if you really need it. After that, you just have to move on because they have a time schedule. They got other actors that need to be that they've booked for that time in the studio. So it's when you come there, or if you ever do get hired to do a video game and it's translated work or ADR, be prepared to just you have to start, land on your feet type of thing. You're running as soon as you're going. There's no warm up. You don't see the script beforehand. And what I like with Christopher, he made the environment very safe, and that's part of the director's job, is to make you as an actor feel safe to do what you need to do, and not feel the pressure of like oh god. Oh man, I just remembering some of those takes and just god, like I tried to find myself in a few of those, and I was like, they use that take, really? I really like the other one.
Right. Well, that's
But,
fascinating because like I've yet to get the opportunity to work on a game yet, but that is something that I would love to see myself doing later on down the road, whether it be visual novel or something even bigger than that. And yeah, like I said, we've never really had anybody that has personally worked in a video game as of yet. I don't believe that could speak from that experience. So just figured I would pick your brain about that and see if there's any massive excitement to it, or if it was all just hooey.
Oh no, I enjoyed it. Like it was being in the booth anytime, being like even if it's my own booth, I'm booking from home. But I love going to a studio. That environment is just like it breathes life into you. It's like being on stage. I fucking love it.
Sure.
So when you get in there, it's great. I love it. And being video games, because I love video games. Like they're fun when I have time. I like to play them. So just being a part of that is just it's an awesome experience. So, and this was something that I did book through my agent. I couldn't find this on my own. So there is that. As I said, with an agent, there's just opportunities that you will see that you won't if you're just trying to do it on your own.
Right.
But yeah, God, it was a lot of fun, and it's also just a good way to meet people. Because even after that, Christopher and the engineer, I think it was Juan. I'm not too sure. But they're just like, oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. We're gonna be doing an expansion later, so we'll probably give you a call if your character's in it, or if you want to do some more characters. And 6 months later, they hit me up. Got to do the mobile version.
Nice.
And then while I was at it, my character did have something in like the expansion, so I would just record like a few other lines for him. And he's just one of my favorites. He's just like this dwarf, and he likes the black gore, and he's just like, dwarven, yes, yeah, he's very stereotypical. Yes, give me the black ore. It's not refined, but it'll do. And he's just very nice. So
Yeah.
he's very warm. Yes, just settle in
Very
right
guttural.
there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Aside from the cold reading aspect of it, or the kind of like the rush of it, is there any drawbacks, would you would say, to working on video games?
It's just it's fast paced. I wish you could get a copy beforehand. I've only got it once on one, and that was the last video game I did, Mobile Legends Adventure. Is that the day before they're just like, oh hey, here's your character, and this is the script that we decided on. I'm like, all right, awesome. We did make a few adjustments in there, but at least I had an idea of what my character was doing, so
Right.
that was a lot of fun. But as far as drawbacks, I can't. Nothing really comes to mind. Like it's just it's a gig.
Yeah.
When you go in there, I say you have a lot of fun. By all means, if you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. But it is a business. They booked you for 2 to 4 hours, and you need to meet that deadline. That is you as a professional. You need to deliver. You said you could do these things. They've listened to what you can do. So whatever you do on your demo, if you have one, and when you get one, you have to be able to replicate it like that. Because you'll have characters in your mind, and you'll never even know that it'll come in handy. They're just like, oh, here's this farmer. What does he sound like? That's a good question. So you need to be able to answer that and just give them something. So improv classes, I would definitely encourage people to take. I know it's kind of scary. No one likes to, just kind of be vulnerable and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. But here's the thing in improv, like no one really knows what they're doing. You just kind of go with it. It's the yes and.
I love it so much. And that's actually advice I've heard when it comes to demos. I did do that session where they sat down and listened to a bunch of demos from voice actors, and they gave that tip where it's like, try to stick to characters that you can come back to, that you feel you have a strength in. If you go for something that's like extremely niche, or that you feel it's a little, you strain a lot, it takes a lot for you to get there, it's not that great of an idea, because if they go for that, you need to be able to do it and do it well.
And for long periods of time, usually.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I had one character, this was for the evil rhino, and he was very hegemon. Oh, he's very deep in here, and why are you doing this? And this actually took a couple years to where I can sustain it for 4 hours, but after that, it's going to hurt. So so there's things that if you want to do a character, by all means, work on it, create it, get it down. Probably most importantly is worry about your health. Don't do it to where you'll hurt yourself the next, like don't do it to where you'll have irreparable damage. Practice it. Get comfortable. See if you can hold it for longer each time. Don't push yourself too hard. Be an adult and take care of yourself. But by all means, practice these characters, because your voice, you can. If you practice, you can do a lot with it. Everyone has their different range. And everyone's like, oh, I wish I could do that character voice. I'm like, well, you probably can't do the specific one I can do, but you probably can do stuff that I can't do. And I'll be just like, man. So by all means, like, practice it and, just work at it, because you'll have more tools in your tool belt that you'll bring to these sessions and be like, oh yeah, I've been working on this. I feel comfortable and I can do it for, a couple hours. Let's try it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Renara, go for it. Story time.
No. Every time I hear Black Desert online, I just get a twinge of bugger, because when I was at university, just after starting my Skywind stuff, I actually saw an opportunity to audition for some of the additional voices in it, and I let it slide. I didn't do it, and it's bit me in the butt ever since. And every time, because I didn't think it was going to be a big thing, and I just sort of saw it and went, "Oh, it's like a Korean thing. I'm going to focus on my Skywind. I know that." And then I see it blowing up, and I'm like, going, "Oh, for God's sake! It will haunt me till the day I die."
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Like they brought us in. I was part of the second round of, because I wasn't part of the original cast. Whatever they decided for Black Desert, they wanted to redo the whole thing. And I remember I was looking online when they did release our patch that had all the new voices. Some people were like, oh, this sounds great, but some people get attached to these voices. I remember listening to them like, oh, that sounds horrible. But if I've been playing this game for a while, it definitely becomes that character. So whenever you go to like this vendor, it's just like, I want to hear, this horrible leprechaun impersonation type thing. And it's, but yeah, they brought us on to replace whoever did the original voice cast, and they actually brought in a studio to develop it, and I just thought that was interesting, because you never really think about that.
So one question that I generally tend to ask people when especially when we're more towards the end, if you could go back and talk to yourself when you were first starting, what piece of advice would you offer yourself?
Oh God.
It's always a tough one.
That is a tough one. What piece of advice would I offer myself? You know what? Take your time. There is no rush. I know you feel like you're in a rush, because I started to wanting to pursue this when I was 28.
Okay.
And a lot of people, when they're that age, just like, I'm almost 30. I need to have a career. My life is going nowhere. So just take your time. It's going to be okay. It's you don't have to do everything all at once. Have fun in the early years, because that I think like I missed out on just doing just having fun, as opposed to I always have to be focused on this.
Totally.
I've seen a lot of stories about actors, like voice actors and regular actors, that they started in their 30s or something, and they just really honed their craft, and it's like that's when they really blew up. So it's no big rush. You can still do it if you're really good at it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no rush. Take your time, practice. No one will have a voice like you. You will have your specific thing that you will enjoy. And because gosh, I still do commercials every now and then. I try to go into audiobooks, which I have a mixed feeling about those.
Are we talking about ACX or?
We are talking about ACX was fine. I wish that it paid more. I wish audiobooks in general paid more. But what I enjoyed about ACX is that the authors that reached out to me, we were working together, even though I didn't get paid as well, but it was just a lot of fun, although a lot of work. And then when I actually got to work with a publisher, it was the same amount of work, not as much communication, and I just I did not like it at all. I don't think I'll ever try to do, like, if one of the book or authors that I've worked with before reaches out, I'll probably work with them again. But as far as like this publisher and I probably won't do audiobooks, because it's just it pays. It doesn't pay well, and my editing, I am slow at editing. So here's a small thing about audiobooks. If for every hour you record, it's probably going to take 4 hours to edit.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Some people can get it down to 2. But it's going to take, for me, it took about 5 to 6. And I just, doing that with a publisher and a deadline and just I think the thought of being like, getting some payment up front and then finishing at the end is just, I really freaked myself out. It was just like, I need to get this done.
Yeah. So that's if you were talking to you. Now let's reach out broader. Somebody who's just barely starting now in this day and age, what advice would you tell them?
Gosh.
Don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, God, I don't know. If they told me like what would I tell them? Like what advice? Focus on acting.
Like that.
Focus on acting. Do not that is the most important point. Voice acting is acting. Anyone I've talked to will tell you that. If you have the choice to get a really good mic or take a class, take the class. Honestly, take the class.
Yes.
Make friends. Because people in classes, they're on the same path as you. That's part of the networking. I know I hated that term when I was younger, I guess, or was first starting out. It's like, networking. That sounds like a sleazy corporate term. But that's how you meet people, and and if you're a good person, you'll make friends, and when they move to other stuff, they'll send you auditions, and it's a fun community when you get to know these people. And so focus on classes, have fun, meet people, talk to them, and get to know yourself better. Like just focus on acting.
I love it.
Acting.
For sure. I think it was a tweet from Jet Barker recently that basically said, actor first, and don't worry about the voice acting parts. You're just an actor. I loved it. Any final questions for our guests before we move on? I want to do one thing real quick before we go. And Renara, I'm dying because I haven't heard your demo yet, but I'm going to wait until next week when we have time to listen to it.
It's all good.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear this submission for Misty because I know you have a deadline for today. Dave, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it from your side too, so I appreciate you being here. So let me go find this one. All right.
The prompt is I'm supposed to deliver a script related to superpowers. Very vague. Just superpowers within 15 seconds or less. So.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume this is a little on the loud side, so I'm bringing down the volume. Here we go.
Me.
It's me. I love the technical term.
I'm not used to adding like music and effects and stuff. I'm really getting starting in that, so hoping all that's good.
Okay, here we go.
You won't get away with this, Ivy. But I already have. What are you going to do? How about this? Oh, my hair! Good luck with all that frizz.
I felt that.
For something comedic, so it could be stick out among all the submissions. It's if something sticks out a little bit, it can help.
Okay.
At least that's how I feel right now.
I'll start. I love that there was 2 characters in it. I could tell definitely that there was 2 different voices in that, so that's good. I would have liked a little bit more sinisterness maybe on the bad side, but that's all I could think of off the top of my head. Production-wise, because I'm usually the one that I liked the little special effects. It kind of cut in and out a little too fast for me. I would have loved a little bit more of a fade, but that's me. Anybody else?
I would say you could really even push yourself more in that, especially in that first line. Where you said, what are you doing to me? You can really just give it all your go, someone just kind of punched you right in the chest, really, really bring that emotion behind it. I felt like it was just a tiny bit flat. But yeah, I would say if you wanted to redo it anyways, just add a little bit more emotion to it, a little bit more grit. And I think that'll really help bring up the performance a bit more.
I'll add on to that in the sense of just go for a run or do something, and I think that because what happened to her? Did she get attacked? What happened?
Just fighting. I guess they're just fighting. So yeah, I get that. She's exhausted.
So
They've been going at it for a while. Yeah.
Right, because I have no idea how to say this without sounding like a dick, but it sounded flat in the sense of there wasn't as much depth to it. In the sense, I get there's a fight, but it was that you won't get away with this playground type thing. And if you'd made yourself out of breath beforehand, I think that might have added that little bit of dynamic risk of, oh, this has been going on for a while, and we get that clue initially straight away. I know it's 15 seconds, but it felt like you were rushing because it was 15 seconds. So I think maybe just having 3 lines rather than trying to get a conversation in like that, and squash it down, I think might have made you feel less rushed, and maybe would have allowed you to focus in on getting those effects spot on rather than going, I need to get a conversation in there. So, but that is what I would say. It's for your first time like adding stuff to that. I think it's good. I think you did a good job with picking probably a really good and interesting sound effect. I think for me, I'm always one for Foley. So if there was like some footsteps maybe, or some sort of added extras to give the listener a few more clues that non-verbally you don't have to say, if that makes sense. That I tried.
Ren rambles. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll add on to that.
Thank you.
With that, like what they said, I'll add on to that. Gosh, I'm rambling too. I'm sorry.
You're okay. Yeah, we love it.
Someone else does it too. Yes.
But I listening to it, I felt like you were holding back a bit. Like when doing animation, a lot of my coaches tell me when you start out on a scale from 1 to 10, start at 11, and then bring yourself down. It's easier to bring yourself down than to push yourself back up. At least that's my experience. So for me, you felt like you were maybe at a 7 or 8. Really try to push it, and then listen to it. And then dial it back a bit and find like where that sweet spot is. I enjoyed it. I feel that there's something there. But yeah, there's this scream that I feel like needs a little bit more hate and.
It's hard for me to scream. It's hard, to just summon it on command.
Yeah, and also when I don't know how familiar you are with your equipment. When you do those, turn down the gain and all that. Working with your equipment is really important. I felt it was a good start. Keep working on it, and maybe I felt like if you could really just go more from the gut. I think you're a little bit more up here when I was hearing that. So maybe ground yourself a bit more. I don't know if that will be a physical stance or a mental state, but yeah, I think that's a good start.
Thank you, much appreciated.
I love it, Dave. Thank you so much. I have like 1,000 more questions, but unfortunately we try to squeeze everything in a short amount of time. Thanks for being here. It's just
no problem.
Yeah, wealth of information. So we have a couple things coming up. First off, if you have a demo, an audition, something you want us to listen to, just like we did for Misty, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. As you can tell, we're not immune to criticism ourselves. We love to hear it. You need to hear it. This is how you're going to advance. Let us help you with that. If you have any topic ideas, anybody you want us to talk to, or if you want to be interviewed yourself, just go ahead and send us an email right there, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Next intro, I want to say is Renara.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I have the thrilling finale of my arc 2, and I'm getting all of.
We're getting
of the
2 finales this
evil.
month. Oh shit!
The final.
Great.
But my last one was split into 3, so this one's better.
I look
Fair.
forward to it. I know
get
you're going to
all
need
the
some
evil
quick
ones.
turnaround on those lines, so. All right.
It's all good. Well, actually, none of you will be in this one
Yeah.
this time. So you will get a pass on this one.
I mean,
So I'm getting everyone evil
Shoot.
on back for this, so you'll get to hear who that mystery laugh was in the last time. So you'll get to see what that is.
Look
Cool.
forward to that. Thank you so much. But yeah, so fair warning, everybody, we got a couple more episodes left in this particular season, and then we're going to close up shop until after the new year. And we're going to come back season 3. We're going to come back harder. We're going to come back with more guests. Eldurrino is doing an awesome job as producer. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dave. We got Dave. Dave is awesome.
Thank you.
But yeah, until next time, guys, please, I'll let Renara say this.
Is it my normal spiel? It's
Yes,
my usual spiel.
yes,
yes.
Keep going. Make the stuff. Do not stop. Learn to rest, but keep going. You do not need permission to create something that you want to do or love, so do the thing right now. Do it. Keep going. Do not stop, and don't quit. The path may be difficult, but learn to stop, rest, and keep going.
Until next week, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you all next time. Bye.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.